Hi, welcome back to the Workmap Explainer video series. Today we're going to be covering automations. Automations are the backbone of any self-driven workflow. They allow you to create rules that help you effectively manage your information as well as your people's responsibilities. Let's jump in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here we have the final product of our workflow table. It is a lead management workflow where we have 4 phases: the new leads phase, billing phase, one phase, and loss phase. We have our fields: name, age, email, number of users, product price, deal value, assignee, and status. So we're going to need to create automations to really get the most out of this workflow. So we're going to come up to the automation tab to do that. So now that we're here, we can begin creating our automations. To do so, we select this Create Your First Rule button. The automation structure is very simple. When this happens, do this. On the left side, we have our triggers, and on the right side, we have our desired actions. Our triggers are when a record is created, when a record is updated, when a record moves, or when a date/time condition is met. Our desired actions are sending an email, updating a field, or moving a record. The first automation that we're going to create is going to be an automation that sends an email to someone once they have filled out a form. So once they fill out a form, it is actually going to create a record in our workflow table. So we're going to call this one form acknowledgement. So we're going to select when a record is created. So when a record is created, we want to send an email. We want to send an email to that person for thanking them for filling out our form. So we can send it to their email. As you can see, we also have the option to send it to people in our workflow. So if we wanted to send it to one of our managers, we can easily select them right there. But in this case, we're going to send it to the email that they put in the form. Then we can give this one a subject. We could just call it thank you. We could say, and then we could type our message. We'll say, thank you for filling out this form, exclamation point. You can also insert fields. You could insert things that they filled out: name, age, email, the product price, the value of the deal. You can format this however you may like. You can add headings, blocks, change your font size. If you play around with it, you can really do a lot here within the email to customize it and make it the best it possibly could be. So we're going to hit save to create our first rule. So our next automation is going to be really simple, and it's going to help us better organize our workflow. We're going to call this one billing, and it's simply going to be when a record is updated to billing. So when the status is changed to billing, when the manager changes the status, the record is then going to move into our billing phase. This is really going to help us better organize our workflow and help the records move pretty much by themselves as they change phases. So I just created a few more automations that are very similar to the billing automation that I just showed you. When the status is changed to 1, we're going to move the record to the 1 phase. When the status is lost, we're going to move to the lost phase. And when the record is created, we're going to set the status as new. Now we're going to create our third automation. We're going to call this rule assignment. And when the record moves to the billing phase, we want to assign this record to our billing manager. So we're going to update field, and we're going to update the assignee field to Matthew Carlson because he is our billing manager. Now that he is assigned to this record, he's going to be notified, and then he can take actions to, take care of the billing. So now I'm going to show you how you can use automations to create mathematical equations. We're going to call this one deal value, and we're going to be calculating the value of the deal, which is equal to the number of users multiplied by the product price. So we're going to say when a record is updated, and we're going to say when the number of users is updated. And then we're going to update the field. We're going to update the deal value field and make that equivalent to the number of users multiplied by the product price. Then we hit enter. As you can see, there's a lot of different functions that you can use. You can use some that we have down here: max, min, average, or you can type in your own, like a plus sign, minus sign. And in this scenario, we used a multiplication sign to get the desired equation that we wanted. Then we can save that and go on to create our next automation. So this automation is actually going to be our last one as well, and we're going to use when a date/time condition is met as the trigger. We're going to call this one lost lead. And what we want here is A day after the lead is lost, we want to send an email to the managers letting them know that this lead has been lost. So we're going to select after, then we'll do 1 day after. A record moves to phase, so when our lead moves to the lost phase. A day after, we will send an email to our managers, so we can select our 2 managers right there, letting them know the lead has been lost. We can give it a subject. We could say lost lead. Then we can insert fields. So we'll insert the name of the lead, the email, and the value of the deal to see how important it is. And we can leave a little message. This lead was lost yesterday. Now the managers know that this lead was lost, and if they think that it's worth getting back, they can then attempt to get it back. So that's going to be our last automation. Now I'm going to go into the workflow quickly to show you guys how some of these work. So the first one that we're going to look at is the equation that we created. So when we change the number of users, you could tell that the deal value will then change based on that equation. Now we're going to scroll over to our status, and when we change this from the new phase to the billing phase, you can see that the lead is going to move to the billing phase and that the assignment is going to be assigned to a billing manager. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. Now it's time to jump in and start creating automations of your own. What are you waiting for?